Russell Brand just admitted he slept with a 16-year-old when he was 30. But comedians, they saw this coming.
And I did sleep with a 16-year-old when I was 30. But when I was 30, I was a very different person.
Really interesting.
You were an
I
atheist.
kind of love it.
You then were a Buddhist.
Don't think that's like that.
Oh,
what are you
these are
trying to do?
facts.
That's antagonistic.
No, it's not. It's factual.
I'm like,
you were an atheist.
what are you going to be next?
You were a... Well, yes.
Muslim?
That's what some
A Jew?
people...
A Scientologist?
That's what some people think.
Hitler. What do you think about Hitler?
That's what some
Was he
people
okay?
think. That's what some people
Should we
think.
get the jab?
From Stewart Lee ripping him apart to Sean Locke saying he'd never want his daughters dating someone like that, the warnings were everywhere, hidden in comedy, and everyone laughed. 2014, 8 out of 10 cats. Russell Brand had just released his book Revolution, telling people not to vote, and Sean Locke wasn't having it.
And him saying stuff to people who are disaffected already and aren't engaged with the political process, don't vote, is the most moronic, self-serving, pathetic bit of attention-seeking wank that has ever... Probably the reason I hate him so much is because I'm a dad, and I've got this fear that one day my daughters will bring something like that home. And he'll come in and go, oh, such pleasure to be in your charming abode.
Sean Locke called it years before the allegations, and he framed it exactly how a father would. Pure fear. Not jealousy, fear. But Sean Locke wasn't the only one who saw through it. Two impressionists absolutely destroyed Brand's entire persona, Morgana Robinson in the 2000s and Tony Lapidus right now.
Hello, Krishna. I'm Russell Brand, and this is True Evolution, wafting away the systemic plutocratic miasma of modernity to reveal the authentic human reality that resides in a beneathment. This week, I'm looking at television. Like any man-made device, television is a drug, an HB opium of the masses, designed to keep them on their sofas instead of out in the streets refusing to comply with road signs.
Morgana didn't just impersonate him. She exposed how the whole thing worked. Big words, spiritual language, designed to sound profound while saying nothing. And years later, Tony Lapidus is doing the same thing.
If you are one of those people that has fallen victim, that has complied, that has acquiesced to the mainstream tabloid and social media realms which have launched what I can only describe as a flagrant, conspicuous and coordinated concerted attack against me in order to besmirch and blacken my name, I feel that you are part of the problem. All I can do is not be silenced, I will not be browbeaten, and I will not be subservient to the powers that be that come not necessarily from above, but from a place of what I consider to be a below depth hell. Or of course, if you take it from the lateral point of view, when you think about the spirituality of it, the only way that I can deny these most egregious, pusillanimous, ignominious and parochial, rather parochial ways that I would say these accusations are constituting, is that I totally, utterly deny and reject, debunk all of the accusations that have been allegated against me, because when you do consider what we have got to do as a responsibility, not as individuals but as a community, we have got to come together. It is our job to demarcate, to legislate, to lacerate, to dedicate, to legislate in order to facilitate and of course to impregnate as much as we can, not impregnate in the literal sense but in other senses in which I will not go into in this video in order not to incriminate. All I can say is whatever it is that you choose to believe, and it is your prerogative, you have got a responsibility. For God's sake, please stay free.
How to Become a Christian in 7 Days is the title of my new book, and in this spiritual vidification, for which I am of course eternally grateful to the Lord, I will summarize the 7 chapters that have been written by my holy right hand in the spirit of the book of Job, of course. In doing so, this has enabled me to copulate the two together in a sexual and powerful fusion of love.
Two impressionists, 15 years apart, both showing exactly the same thing. The verbose vocabulary, the spiritual posturing, the performance masquerading as depth. It's all an act. Sometimes it's just vibes. Scottish comedian Connor Burns took one look at Brand and said what everyone was thinking.
You've seen the Russell Brand documentary? Yeah, fucking come on, let's talk about it. I think the weirdest part of it is that people are surprised. Have you not seen him? Russell Brand looks like if you gave a kid a bunch of crayons and went, draw a bad man.
No one.
The verse that I was looking at that day was not this. I can't actually find the verse that I had that day.
90 seconds of live television, of Russell Brand unable to find a Bible verse he claimed to have been reading in court. The split screen, the silence, pure comedy. And then it got weirder. After the interview, Piers Morgan posted that Brand was, quote, inappropriately tactile during filming. Brand had insisted on blessing Piers before they started, the same guy facing multiple sexual assault charges, being inappropriately touchy, classic Brand. But between the court appearances and the Bible fumbling, Brand sat down with Megyn Kelly and admitted something that should have ended the redemption tour immediately.
In Europe and in the United Kingdom where I'm from, the age of consent is 16, and I did sleep with a 16-year-old when I was 30. But when I was 30, I was a very different person.
He admits it was exploitative, admits the power imbalance, then wraps it in redemption language. The same pattern as the Bible fumble, big words, spiritual posturing, anything to distract from what he's actually saying. After the allegations went public, Nish Kumar went on his podcast and said the quiet part out loud.
This is a well-known open secret from the comedy circuit.
Right.
There are still people working in comedy who are the subject of open secrets. So there are still people who work in comedy that we can't name because, again, of the threat of lawsuits. And there are still people working in comedy who people will say, oh, we don't send young women into their dressing rooms.
Everyone knew. They discussed it at Edinburgh Fringe in 2018. People stopped working with him, but nobody could say anything publicly because of lawyers. 2007, big fat quiz. What should have been harmless banter became something much darker.
Well, you know what? I'm a bit concerned. Can I tell you why? Because look where you've put us, OK? You've put the only sexually attractive young lady, well, the only young lady full stop, but she happens to be very attractive as well, on team near two of the best-known cocksmen in the business. Look, already they're spinning around their chair. So I'm going to insist, as a kind of uncle figure in Lily's life, that she moves over there, because obviously that's a sexless zone of the... And then Lily might go home with her dress still on.
How dare you? We're not rapists.
Why are you wearing a cape if you're not a rapist?
Jack the Ripper cape. He wasn't a rapist, he was just a...
serial murderer.
Yeah.
Oh, and also I raped someone once.
We're not rapists. That was the punchline. And Lily had to sit there and smile. Because that's what you did in the noughties. You were a good sport. The persona was the shield. When everything's a joke, how do you report it? How do you prove character isn't just character? Sean Locke was right. Morgana Robinson was right. Tony Lapidus is right. Connor Burns was right. Nish Kumar confirmed it. Everyone knew. But one person called it before all of them.
This program was hosted by Russell Brand, and what it meant when the bad racism happened, it meant that Russell Brand was contractually obliged to look meaningfully into the camera, making a serious face, and to condemn racism in the strongest terms possible, whilst dressed as a cartoon pirate. Before going back to his ongoing life's work of thinking up cutesy, diminutive Mr. Men names for his own penis. Mr. Winky, Mr. Dinky, Mr. Dingle Donkey Dinky, Winky Wookie Woo no. And the way that Russell Brand thinks up cutesy, diminutive Mr. Men names for his own penis makes him sound like a child molester who is trying to convince himself to allow himself to molest himself. And when Martin Luther King saw racism in 1960s America, Martin Luther King called it out in the strongest, most visionary, eloquent terms possible. Martin Luther King said, "I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the colour of their skin, but by the content of their character." Martin Luther King. And when Russell Brand saw racism in his place of work, Big Brother, Russell Brand said, "Ooh." There's been some bad racism and stuff going down today. And no mistake. My liege. It's made Mr. Winky go right small, it has. Oh yes it has. Oh yeah. And my ball bag, my old ball bag, has only gone up my bum. Here's H from Steps.
Stewart Lee saw exactly what Russell Brand was, a performer hiding behind a character, using big words and spiritual posturing to sound deep while dodging accountability. Even the Bible couldn't save him, because you can't find redemption if you never admit what you did. The comedians tried to warn us about Russell Brand. We just weren't ready to hear it, because it's easier to laugh than to listen, and that's exactly what he was counting on. Like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.